Want dis ons land, dis ons taal, en sonder soek aan ons gaan stories waar we lewe in die tuine hoog gebou uit sand, die helder see en die goue straat, die landskap wat oor generasies vertel, die harte wat in ritme met die golwe val. Ons land, ons taal.
In Japan het die heel eerste land geword waar Namibiërs aan die 2019 presidensiële en nasionale verkiesing kan deelneem. Hartlike goeiemôre, my naam is Denver Kisting, die naam van die program is Kletskompas. Net hierna gesels ek met kollega Dani Booysen oor die voorblaaie in die dagblaaie van die Namibia Media Holding Stal, dis natuurlik Republikein, Algemene Zeitung en Namibian Sun. Daarna praat Henriette Lamprecht met Sybrand en Ronel de Beer van die Legacy of Love platform. In die gees van die verkiesing, die Rally for Democracy and Progress, kuier vandag saam met ons om oor hul visie vir die land te praat. Bly gerus ingeskakel.
Met die golwe val. Ons land, ons taal.
Ons klets in nuus en by my vanoggend Denver Kisting. Goeiemôre Denver.
Hartlike goeiemôre Dani en hartlike goeiemôre aan al ons kykers op ons Facebook platform.
Ons loer eers na Republikein se voorblad en 'n dringende kiesaansoek wat gister in die Hoërhof misluk het.
Ja Dani, ons weet dat die verkiesingskommissie van Namibië onlangs duiwel losgelaat het toe hulle aangekondig het dat politieke partye se kandidaate wat hoopvol is om volgende jaar die nasionale vergadering te haal, uit hulle staatsposte bedank. Sou hulle ook aan die nasionale raad gedien het of in 'n streek of 'n plaaslike owerheid, was hulle ook genoodsaak om te bedank. En 'n lid van die amptelike oppositie, die Popular Democratic Movement, het geweier om te bedank en hy het probeer om die hof te oortuig dat hy steeds mag staan as kandidaat vir die nasionale vergadering en eers sy bedanking in hoef te dien sodra hy gekies is tot die nasionale vergadering. En die hof het nie in sy guns beslis nie.
Nou, dit is ook die leiberig op die Algemene Zeitung is 'n voorblad van vandag, daardie hofberig onder daar op die AZ net vinnig Wika wat planne maak solank vir volgende jaar se windhoek karnaval. En dan loer ons gou na die Namibian Sun. Die leiberig daar gaan oor wie anders as Dr. Joseph Dishu.
Ja, Dani, die professor is steeds in omstredenheid gehul en veral vanweë die omstrede uitlatings wat hy maak. En sedert hy die land vroeër vanjaar verlaat het vanweë veiligheidsredes, beweer hy, is hy meer omstrede. En hy beweer in Namibian Sun se leiberig dat president Sam Nujoma, die stigterspresident van die land, vir alle Namibiërs is en nie net vir SWAPO nie.
Hy sê nou nogal, hy moet sommer ander politieke partye se vergaderings ook bywoon. Mense wonder, ja, kom ek sê nie, ek wonder in watter wêreld hy leef nie, maar ek dink nie, ons gaan vir Tatekulu Nujoma by 'n PDM vergadering.
En definitief ook by LPM nie.
Definitief ook nie by die LPM nie, net so vinnig, ja, die Namibian, die Engelse dagblad vandag 'n groot stink visbesigheid oopgekrap waar daar beweringe is van omkoopgeld aan politieke leiers, spesifieke ministers. Nou ja, ons gee krediet waar dit toe kom, pypwerk en ons gaan by ons mediahuis ook dit opvolg vandag.
'n Absolute plempie in kollega Shinoveni Emmanuel.
Daar's hy, geniet jou Woensdag.
Met die golwe val. Ons land, ons taal.
Enjoy extra flexibility with Extra View from DSTV. It lets you pop a TV up here, another over here, and one more up here. And great news, Namibia! You can now link up to 3 Extra View capable decoders and have the whole family enjoy their favorite shows in 3 different rooms at the same time, all under a single subscription. To find out more, visit dstv.com and enjoy extra viewing freedom for everyone.
Ons land, ons taal.
Op 2 Julie 2017 is Ronel en Sybrand de Beer se 11-jarige dogter Lumay skielik dood. Maar uit hierdie geweldige tragedie het die mooiste platform vir liefde en 'n nalatenskap van Lumay gekom met die stigting van Legacy of Love. Baie welkom Sybrand en Ronel. Vertel vir my van Legacy of Love. Hoe dit ontstaan, hoe dit begin.
Ja, ons het maar begin met Legacy of Love as 'n blog net om te skryf en en 'n bietjie ons eie emosies te deel en toe het ons agtergekom daar's baie ander mense wat maar deur dieselfde pad stap as ons en het hulle stories begin deel op die platform meer om onsself te help met die drouproses en toe het ons gevind dit help baie vir ander mense ook net om te vind jy's nie alleen nie, jy stap hierdie pad nie alleen nie, daar's mense wat 'n soortgelyke omstandighede het en ons kan met mekaar deel. En van daar af het ons begin om verskillende projekte te begin, soos die buddy benches by skole en die act of kindness boksies wat ons vir mense gee wat in trauma is of siekte beleef. En verlede jaar het my broer toe begin met die sportspanne ook om die dash te ry en ons sal net 'n bietjie meer gesels daaroor. Maar so dit maar ontwikkel en toe het ons nou die klerereeks begin en stappie vir stappie en elke dag voel ons maar net dis God wat dit seën want dit is op die einde maar sy projek en ons is net die instrumente wat dit doen. So dit is maar waar dit ontstaan het en hoe dit op hierdie stadium groei.
Dit is 'n geweldige privaat ervaring om 'n kind te verloor en ek het geweldige respek vir die feit dat jy so oop is daarmee in dit deel. Ronel, is dit iets wat vir jou maklik kom om te gaan sit en wat is regtig jou diepste emosies wat jy deel? Voel jy dit help? Daar's heling tog in dit om te deel?
Ja, weet jy, dit is glad nie maklik nie. Maar ek dink ek het vir die eerste paar maande amper letterlik vir my in die kamer toegesluit en ons het 'n besigheid gehad, so ons moes aangaan. Maar ek het net met God tyd spandeer. En ek het net gevoel hierdie gaan jy nie sonder hom kan doen nie, want ons moet daai hoop hê van ons gaan haar weer sien. En so ek het baie met hom geworstel, baie boeke gelees. En so het ek dink in 'n groeiproses ingegaan. Hulle sê as jy in die woestyn ingaan of in 'n woud of wat ook al en jy sien nie donker, dit is waar jy leer en waar jy groei en waar jy moet uitkom tot jy die lig op die ou end sien. So ek dink ons is maar net op 'n pad gesit waar ons ongelooflik groei, sterker word en toe hierdie hele ding begin het van wat ons begin skryf het en dit is persoonlik want even die love op die Legacy of Love is haar handskrif. So ons het dit baie persoonlik ingebring en haar persoonlikheid ook saam met alles ingesmeld. Soos van sy het oral love geskryf. Sy het oral Faith Hope Love geskryf.
En die haartjie wat sy gemaak het.
Ook haar haartjie, ja. So en ek het bietjie dieper loop indelf en die naam Legacy of Love is ook 'n amazing story hoe dit nou op die ou en daar gekom. Ek het 'n klomp vir mense 'n klomp name gesê. Sê ons wil 'n blog begin. Ek het 'n stories om te skryf oor my hart en oor wat en tot op die ou en die meeste mense hierdie naam gekies, maar ek was nog steeds nie seker nie want ek weet dit moet God se wees en ek wil regtig hê sy bevestiging hê. En die oggend sit ek in die kamer en my pa is oorlede op 22 jaar terug. My pa was baie bekend in Namibië en hy het rugby afgerig en hy was met die Landbouunie betrokke. En hy het 'n foto wat ek baie lank terug al in my kamer het en op die foto se haartjie en love staan daar op die fotoraam, maar nooit besef nie. En ek sit so en ek bid en ek sê Here, wat moet hierdie naam wees? Asseblief gee vir my bevestiging. En daai tyd toe val my oë op my pa se foto en ek sien die raam vir die eerste keer eintlik werklik. Ja, en toe net alles met haar liefde in. Toe weet ek net dit moet Legacy of Love wees. En ja, so dit toe maar gegroei en so het mense, soos ons begin skryf en mense wat na ons toe kom en sê, Jessie, ek het 'n kind verloor, deel met my, of ons het net besef dat, hoekom gebeur hierdie? Kyk, ek het nooit gesê, ek het nooit vir God gevra hoekom nie, maar ek het gesê, okay, wat wil hy van ons hê? Wat moet ons nou doen, in hierdie tyd wat ons oor het? Want ek weet toe nou, ek het nou baie geleer en ons is net hier vir 'n spesifieke tyd en doel. Wat moet ons hiermee maak? En toe het ek dink net sy stem gehoor en gesê, okay, dan moet jy hiermee vat en as jy moet praat, moet jy praat. As jy vir mense moet hoop gee, dan moet jy hoop gee. Ja.
En ek dink dit is ook 'n wonderlike ek weet nie wonderlik dalk die regte woord is nie, maar as jy weet daar is mense daar buite wat ook in so 'n situasie is en wat dalk nou nie 'n platform gehad het nie, maar deur julle nou ook kan
definitief
gee aan daai gevoelens.
Nee, dit help met jou troos. Ek dink dit help regtig om te weet jy ietsie wat jy doen beteken en ons is besig met God se werk. En dit is vir my die belangrikste op die einde van die dag.
Nou kom ons gaan deze dash toe. Julle is fietsryers soos julle twee sit.
Amateur.
Is dit teamspanne as 'n nou reg gesyfer, 10 spanne wat julle instel.
Ja, dis 4, dis nou daar's 2 bygekom, so dis nou 12 spanne.
12 spanne.
Ja.
Okay, nou sê gou vir my, wat is die doel van hierdie
Ja, so toe Lomeine oorlede is in 2017, toe van ons vriende wat toe die dash gery het daai jaar, sommer Lomeine se naam op hulle kuite en op hulle arms geskryf en die dash gery. En verlede jaar het my broer Johan na my toe gekom en gesê, maar julle het nou die Legacy of Love begin en hy en Corneille het toe nou 2-man span ingeskryf en gesê hulle wil graag 'n hemp maak wat die logo op het en toe het ons dit gelaat doen. En toe het hulle die 2-man span gery en hulle gesê hulle ry vir Lomeine. So einde van die dash verlede jaar het ons gesê maar ons kan nie laat ander mense vir ons saak ry nie. Ons sal homself ook moet inspring. Toe het ons nou eers net fietsse geleen en gekyk of ons hou van die fietsry ding en dit gedoen vir 3 maande en toe besluit ons nee wat ons sal dit nou maar doen. En toe het ons gesê maar kom ons kyk of ons nie dan iets meer hiervan kan maak nie want dit gaan nie oor ons nie. Ons wil graag deur dit moet daar 'n betekenis wees en 'n doel daarvan. Toe het ons vriende en mense wat vir Lomeine geken het en wat vir ons ken gevra, luister ons gaan die dash ry, wie van julle wil saamry? En dat is ongelooflik, van die 24 ryers wat nou gaan ry hierdie jaar, dink ek is meer as die helfte mense wat nog nooit fiets gery het nie. Wat almal gesê het, ons gaan dit net doen vir julle en vir Legacy of Love en vir Lomeine. En toe het ons gesê, maar ons wil ook nie dit hê net vir ons nie, kom ons kyk as spanne, nomineer mense of instansies wat julle graag voor wil ry, en ons almal het toe besluit, dat ons vir ouers wil ry, wat agtergebly het, wat kinders verloor het. So elke span of elke persoon het dan mense genomineer en ons kan nooit almal wat oor ons pad gekom het op een slag doen nie, maar ons het toe 'n klomp wat ek dink baie naby aan ons is die afgelope tyd gekies en vir hulle mooi kersies gegee met hulle kinders se name op wat ons dan graag wil hê hulle moet aansteek. oor die dash en hulle kind se liggie laat brand en onthou dat hulle kind is geonthou. Dis nie vergeet nie en ons is daar in die woestyn besig om hierdie harde pad te trap, maar ons weet hulle trap 'n baie harder pad.
En dis 'n geweldige motivering. Die simboliek van dit is nou eintlik vir my verstommend, want jy gaan letterlik deur die woestyn en daai simboliek van deur die woestyn want daar is tog 'n eindpunt aan die kant as jy klaar maak.
Ja.
Baie dankie julle twee. Dit was so 'n inspirerende gesprek en ek mag die Here julle regtig nog baie seën met julle projek.
Baie dankie Henriette.
Dankie.
Dankie.
Met die golwe van ons land ontstaan.
Boutaks in 'n vakansie oor see.
I'm saving for my birthday next year.
I don't know, I'm saving up for a Hilux bakkie, man. Like, I need a double cab in my life. Maybe then, my things will start falling into place.
Me handi savile piano kapi.
Oh, now everybody's having fun.
Holiday in Egypt with my husband, very romantically.
Ngae efudo joko Dubai nuna na wanje ujuyari. Tangi.
Yo, there's moves, ek sê.
Ek spaar ook vir swemlesse want ek kan nie swem nie en ek wil graag Sun City toe gaan.
Boom. I'm saving up for my wedding because, come on, everybody have to have your partner. So I would say is, if I find her, she's coming with me.
Efudo kwa Abu Dhabi nuna anuoku anawanai. Thank you.
Well, I'm saving up to buy a new piano set and a DJ mixer. Well, my voice is terrible today, so yeah. Next. Well, I love it.
Tell us what we are saving for
In a 30-second video.
By 18 November 2019.
And you stand a chance to win $2,500 Namibian dollars.
5 lucky winners stand a chance.
So, send your short clip to this number over here.
We all have a reason to say. En ek kan nog steeds nie swem nie.
By 1819 2000.
You'll be a lucky winner.
Send your number to this. No. This one.
We just said it together.
Can we take a step forward? I think we're going to get a shadow at the back. Yeah, that's
And thank you for joining us once again, viewers, and welcome to the NMH studio. We have with us today the leader of the Rally for Democracy and Progress, as well as its presidential candidate, Mr. Mike Kavakatora. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm actually doing very well myself, and it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
My pleasure.
We can jump right in. In terms of the RDP's major draw card for this election, what are you presenting to the voters as a massive draw card to get them to press that EVM button in your favor?
Well, thank you very much, Ashley. The most important thing that we want the Namibians to take note and also to vote for us is the better life. Namibia, since independence, has been yearning for better life. Better life is defined in different ways by different people, and I think it also has got to do with our economy. Our economy has not been growing to a level where every single Namibian feel the fruits of independence. So from that perspective, we really think that we are uniquely qualified to offer a better life for every single Namibian. Namibia has been fragmented in different categories. There are those who are politically well connected, and because of their political connections are actually being more favored politically and economically from that perspective. And that is something that we are against. We don't see why the independence must have different meanings to different Namibian people. That is why we want to tackle our economy head on, make sure that our economy is creating jobs, make sure that the youth are benefiting from the jobs that are being created, not those politically connected jobs where you have a situation where jobs are actually reserved for a few individuals who are well connected. We believe that Namibia as a country is not a poor country. It is a country that is endowed with a lot of natural resources that can benefit every single Namibian. So from that perspective, we just have to, what we are offering the electorate out there is really sort of an economic emancipation, making sure that people have jobs, they have decent living, they have better houses, and all these things are actually socio-economic issues. And those are the core issues that we're going to focus on, making sure that Namibia and the independence of Namibia have got meaning to every single Namibian.
I see you've actually answered my second question around job creation, economic revival, industrialization. But these are issues that go to the heart of why people are going to be voting on the 27th of November.
Yeah, definitely. I think you see, we have a lot of challenges that we are facing. But if you look at the solutions that one has to offer, I think if you offer an economic solution to the problem that we are facing, that of housing shortages, that of unemployment, that is especially among the youth, that of education, making sure that our educational system talks to the industry, because currently there's a disconnect between our educational system and what the industry is looking for. You have a lot of unemployed professionals, and it's simply not because that there are no jobs at all, it's simply because they don't meet the job demand. So that is why the economy is core to many of the social economic problems that we're facing today.
In terms of another two very, very critical issues that our people are facing at the moment and have been facing for a long time, access to land and housing. What are some of the RDP's solutions in terms of land and giving our people dignity, the dignity back through housing?
First of all, I think land is the most important resource for any single development, any single production, any single productivity. Therefore, it is true that every single Namibian needs land. But we don't need land for the same purpose. We have different needs, we have different aspirations, and we acknowledge the fact that there is a dire need for urban land for housing purposes. There's a dire need for farming land. And that is why we feel that even the resettlement program that is currently running is simply not in favor of the Namibians. You find that if you go onto the list of the people who have been resettled, you find, number one, a lot of politicians who can actually afford to buy their own farms have been resettled on those farms. And then you find people who are politically connected, also resettled. Then the issue of, even in those resettlement programs, there are certain criteria that are missing. 1, productivity. 2, effectiveness. 3, efficiency. 4, value for money. All these things are totally missing in our resettlement program. That's why we, from our side, as far as land distribution is concerned, we have to make a distinction between settlement and resettlement. In my view, resettlement is a term that fits for those people who have been dispossessed of land. And I'm talking specifically, if I have to use an example, the Ovahereros and the Namas. They have been dispossessed of their land during the German Herero-Nama War. They are the one who should qualify for resettlement. But all Namibians also need land. That's why there should be another program called a settlement program, where all the other Namibians will then become beneficiary for that. But as a condition, in my view, land must be utilized productively. There's no way one would run a prudent government by simply distributing land on the basis of trying to, do it for the benefit of those politically connected people. Land must be productive, because that could contribute to job creation, to contribute to economic growth. It will also contribute to the fact that some of the socio-economic problems that we are facing could be solved through the provision of land. When it comes to housing, I'm lucky that I've been the CEO of NHG for quite some time. So I understand the challenges faced by the Namibians when it comes to housing delivery. But I also understand what works and what doesn't work. What doesn't work is those politically connected programs and projects, like mass housing. As far as I'm concerned, mass housing was a mess. There were billions and billions of dollars were spent on mass housing, but first of all, there was no definition as to who are the beneficiaries. What segment of the market are we targeting? What is the affordability level of those people? And all these criteria have led to mass housing becoming a total mess. You have houses that were constructed currently in all over the show, where some of them are completed, but they are unoccupied. They are currently being vandalized by people. Why? Because there was no planning. There was no specific planning. Now, RDP, under my leadership, will introduce what we call incremental housing, because we need to address these slums that are mushrooming in our cities and towns. Incremental housing basically says, we're going to offer you a house based on your affordability level. If you want to have a 3-bedroom house, you can start with 1 room, a fully completed plan, but with 1 room and a bathroom, so that you can also take care of sanitation. And then once your income grows, you incrementally build your house until after 3-4 years, you have a complete house.
Okay.
That one. Two, government involvement in housing. We're going to limit government involvement in housing to the needy, to social housing, and not construct a house where the banks can participate. Because if you look at mass housing, you have houses worth $500,000 constructed. That market is a market where the bank can easily provide mortgage and loans to individuals who can afford to be in those ranges. So that has got nothing to do with government. So that's why we're going to define our program in such a way that at the end of the day, that the people who are poor, or our Namibians who have little income, are actually better housed. Secondly, we're also going to urge, not force, but urge employers to assist in the provision of housing to the employees. Because if somebody have a good night's sleep, the tendency is that he will become more productive than somebody who's sleeping under a tree. So it is, in my view, it is the fiduciary responsibility of employers also to contribute to housing. And the sum of that will address the social housing problem that we are facing
Can I
today.
just interrupt you there? We've gone a bit over the time limit for housing, but that's fine, not a problem.
Okay.
Some very interesting points you made.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about accountability and the RDP. Everything goes well, you get seats in the National Assembly. How do you hold government accountable in the interest of all Namibians?
First of all, what is needed is a structural adjustment. Accountability in RDP, once we are in Parliament, take over government and then also be in Parliament. First of all, we're going to enforce the separation of power to the fullest. What I mean by that is that you have currently a situation where ministers are still part of the legislature, which is totally wrong. And it renders Parliament useless. I've been there for 5 years. I've observed what is actually happening there. What we're going to do is to make sure that we have a system where parliamentarians are elected not through a party list, but through the constituencies, so that they can also account to the constituency. Instead of having a party list and you are being elected on the basis of your popularity, on a party perspective.
Yeah.
We want to change that and make sure that at the end of the day, our people's representative, parliamentarians, are being elected on the basis of their constituency, so that they can account to the constituency. And then the other control measure will be when the minister wants to introduce a new bill. It's only that minister that comes to Parliament. He will be interrogated. Once the bill is approved, he goes back to do the implementation, which is currently also lacking, because ministers are spending a lot of money in Parliament as opposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. Then the other thing is that we're going to reduce the number of parliamentarians. There was no reason whatsoever to have increased the number from 72 to 104. We're going to bring them down to either 72, if not lower than that.
Mr. Kavikatora, the RDP is coming from quite heady heights in the 2009 election. It's not been going that well for the party over the last couple of years. What are you doing as the new leader to make sure that the RDP actually regains some of its old fervor and energy in terms of doing well in elections?
Two things. The reason why we have gone through these hurdles was purely a leadership issue. What I observed after I took over on the 2nd of June was that our members did not resign. The majority of them, they did not resign from the party. They just went and took a break from politics. after I took over, I started roaming this country, going all over every corner of this country. And the one thing that I promised my members is that there are two things that we failed to do in the beginning. One was a team building. RDP never operated as a team. We operated as individuals belonging to a grouping, but we never really operated as a team. So we have started to have a team building exercise, number one. Number two, we also, one of my colleagues was saying that we moved out of SWAPO, but SWAPO did not move out of us because we did not sort of crafted a separate identity for the party, which is one thing that I also promise my comrades, that we're going to have a structural, a culture change intervention so that we can be identified by the way we behave, by the way we do things, by the accountability that is expected from us, so that the people can expect certain things from us. And I think that is work in progress, and I think that was also well received, by our general membership.
And what is your final message to voters? Why should they go out on the 27th of November and vote for the RDP?
Very good question. First of all, I want to answer that question by asking another question. Why do countries fail? Why do economies collapse? Why do social services not being delivered? These are similar questions that was asked by Professor Stellenbosch way back in the 1930s. And he came to two principal issues. He said it's because of leadership and understanding. Namibia is a rich country endowed with all natural resources. We're currently doing terrible in terms of many of our economic indicators because of leadership and understanding. And the third one that I would like to add myself is the political will. We have all three of them. RDP has got proven leadership, because the reason we moved out of SWAPO to a bigger extent was because we realized that the ruling party, instead of addressing the real need and aspirations of the Namibian people, they started to enrich themselves through corruption and what have you. We are saying that we need to bring back the Namibian dream of having a better life. And I think also Namibia, under RDP leadership, we experience a situation where politics has got nothing to do with tenders. Politics is a vehicle that take the society need from point A to point B, and that is what we are going to offer the Namibian people. So I believe that we have good reasons for us to really want Namibians to vote for us, because 30 years of independence without any meaning is enough. We need a paradigm shift. We are most probably one of the few political parties that is national in nature. You find political parties that are based on tribal lines. You find political parties that are not only based on tribal lines, but they are more of interest group. Imagine somebody saying that I'm here to fight the issue of land, and that's the only issue that I'm going to fight. What about all the other issues? Who's going to fight them? So those are not really political parties. They are interest group that converted themselves into political parties. And I think that is why you find a mushrooming of political parties. Instead of them remaining pressure groups or interest groups, they become political parties, but just to fight one specific item. This is why you even find people saying that our manifesto is only a 2-page document. How do you address all these national issues in 2 pages? So I really believe that we have all the qualities and the characters to really sort of lead this country.
Thank you so much for your time and thank you for your thoughts. We appreciate it and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
For the campaign ahead. May everything go well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we are looking forward that I want to kill the notion of people saying that they're not going to vote. I would appeal to those colleagues who still feel that there's no need for them to vote to please go out in numbers and vote, because if you don't vote, basically you surrender your rights even to complain. And I think we owe it to Namibia, as Namibians, to exercise our democratic right and to make sure that at the end of the day, we change the government for the better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ons land, ons taal. No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling. Make die golven val. Ons land, ons taal.
Fluit, my Kletskompas storie is uit, mag dit vir u 'n pragtige Woensdag wees. Totsiens.
Want dis ons land.